Abortion is the termination of a pregnancy that determines the death of the fetus. It is any interruption of the pregnancy before its physiological term, that is, before the embryo is able to lead an extrauterine life. The history of abortion is in part the history of women, of the role they were granted, and the recognition of the role. It is the history of a political interest and evaluation that have changed. In ancient Greece, abortion was a widespread practice in all social classes, morally accepted and legally lawful. In the Roman world, on the other hand, the first indirect mention of abortion is found in the Law of 12 Tables, in which it is specified that the consent of the husband is necessary for the interruption of a pregnancy, and if his consent is not given, the wife risks repudiation. The history of abortion in the Roman world was undoubtedly intertwined with the beliefs and various religious traditions, which more than anything else conditioned and determined the path of the practice of abortion. The Second World War highlighted the fears of entire peoples, the dependence that fundamental rights had on the state that was supposed to protect them. This new awareness led nations to create alliances, covenants, and treaties. By virtue of its reproductive function, the female body has always been the field in which society tends to exercise its domination, making it a privileged laboratory of biopolitical control through sexual oppression and continuous redefinition and reduction of the space granted. An interpretation which disobjectified women as a weak and fragile figure, reduced to a mere container of embryos, a biological body that exists only through the attribution of rules and roles assigned to her, wife, mother, daughter. The famous Fertility Day campaign promoted by former Health Minister Lorenzin has been harshly criticized for attempting to raise the birth rates of the country by relying on a woman's alleged innate maternal instinct, without speaking at all of precarious work, economic insecurity, and all of these factors that make it extremely difficult to think about having children and starting a family. Law 194 of May 22, 1978 in Italy, which decriminalized abortion within the first 90 days of pregnancy and in case of serious danger to women, even beyond that period. The right to abortion is under attack everywhere in the world, especially after the advance of the right to abortion. Since Trump's election, the situation in the United States has been particularly dramatic. In Alabama, for example, the Senate has passed a very strict law against abortion, declared illegal even in case of rape or incest. El Salvador is the state with the most restrictive law. Women who abort, even if they suffer a miscarriage, risk up to 30 years in prison. In Poland, access to abortion has recently been restricted, has sparked enormous protest. On Thursday, 22 October 2020, the Polish Constitutional Court ruled that abortion for serious malformation of the fetus violates the Constitution. Argentina has become the first of the great South American countries to decriminalize abortion. The new law, despite the strenuous opposition of the Catholic Church and pro-life movement, will make abortion free and legal. Hitherto practiced clandestinely in places with hygienic conditions very dangerous to the health of women. But what really happens when a country forbids abortion? By way of example, we can briefly retrace the history of Romania, which for decades has been a real test of what can happen when a country decides to ban abortion in an attempt to increase the country's population. It was mainly rich women who could afford to abort by bribing doctors, while women belonging to disadvantaged social groups found themselves forced to resort to unsafe and illegal domestic abortion. Maternal mortality skyrocketed, doubling. Women died as a result of unsafe abortion procedures. Another consequence of the abortion ban in Romania was the hundreds of thousands of children ended up in the state of orphanages. They were left with serious developmental and mental health problems. As a result, in the last 30 years, illegal abortion have gone from 36% of 1994 to 50% between 2015 and 2019. The complication caused by illegal abortion, often performed by incompetent personnel and with makeshift equipment, can in some cases lead to death. According to the WHO, every year between 4.7% and 13.2% of maternal deaths can be attributed to unsafe abortions. In countries where access to abortion is limited, there will not necessarily be an increase in births, but there will certainly be many more female deaths.